Hey everybody, what's going on? It's your friend James Shaw. Thank you so much for choosing to be here and hanging out with us as we do what we do, which is talk to elite people who are doing elite things. We have elite of the elite today, as far as I'm concerned. This is someone who I've wanted to interview for a couple of years, and we finally have it figured out and ready to go. And I'm so pumped. Sheena, would you introduce yourself to everyone? Tell them who you are and where you are and a little bit about you.
Of course. Oh my God. Thank you so much. I'm honored to be here. Thank you guys for tuning in to this amazing show. I'm Sheena Saydam. I am with Keller Williams in Washington, D.C. I have a small but mighty team. Uh, our entire staff is made up of Army spouses stationed throughout the country. So we've got most of us based here in the D.C. metro area. And then we've got a bunch of people throughout the country. And we have built a business that sells about over $100 million a year entirely by referral. We've never bought a lead or made a cold call, and we're giving back to the community.
Small and mighty. Listen, folks, she's done like 3 million in GCI this year. I mean, is this gonna be a record-breaking year for you?
I don't, those COVID years were really strong, so I don't know that
Yeah,
it will be
yeah,
record breaking. It won't be record breaking necessarily for deals, although, you know what, we have a really small team. So we have one of the smallest teams we've had in years. So maybe per agent count, we have the best
yeah.
team. We have the strongest team, no longer as big. And we
But you're
might
gonna
still
get to
be.
what? Over 200 this year,
Oh
yes?
yeah, over 200, hopefully still the top team in DC, and we will break $1 million in monetary donations to charity this
Well,
year.
and that's
So
the point of today. Like you have this very successful business, and I want people to watch this, and they may go, "Well, I'm never going to do 3 million in GCI and 250, 300 homes a year." But it's all, you can scale it back to whatever works for you,
yeah,
because what worked for you, Sheena, was you're just passionate about giving back, and you are going to hit this milestone this year of $1 million given back to your community. So cheers to you on that. Congratulations.
thank you.
What's that feel like to know that that's the impact you've had in your town?
It feels validating to know that we can build a business that is about more than just ourselves. I think every time I hear, how often do we hear people burning out? And I just want people to hear this, that if you are feeling burnt out, it's probably because you're no longer connected to your business. So think about making your business about more than you, and I promise you, everything will change.
You've wanted to be engaged in the community, and so you got in the business, because you were looking for something to do effectively, is basically what you're doing. But the community has always been important to you. When did you make the decision that this real estate business needed to also give back, and how did you make
Mhm.
that choice?
Yeah, so I would say my first sale, I realized I needed to give back. I had been working in nonprofit. I was laid off from my nonprofit job. I had an additional $50,000 in student loan debt the week that I got laid off, because I had just graduated, and I was making $42,000 at my nonprofit job a year, and it took me several months to make my first sale. And as soon as I did, I went, "Oh my God!" I couldn't believe the amount of money that you could make in real estate. So I immediately took my two best girlfriends out for dinner. I bought them both uh, a new pair of dress shoes, and there's like these really famous like ballet slippers with blue bottoms. The ladies watching this will know what I'm talking about. They were very expensive. I never would have purchased that before. So I didn't buy anything for myself. I bought it for my friends. I was just so excited to celebrate with them. And then I went to a women's empowerment event in Baltimore, and I was invited by a girl I had gone to high school with. She and her husband had been serving the homeless in Baltimore for many years, and what they discovered was that there was no clean, safe place to get a shower. And so they were considering building a shower truck for the homeless. So for 3.5 years, I went into every buyer and seller appointment and said, "I'm going to take great care of you, and we're going to help build a shower truck for the homeless." And just like myself, they were so excited. They never heard of anything like that. And so it was really a differentiator. And with all my heart, I wanted to make that difference. I didn't know at the time what a big difference that would make, and we can talk about that later. But so that's what I did. And so it really was an investment by the entire community, right? Because if they didn't purchase homes from me, I couldn't have invested that money. So it really started from the beginning. The shower truck was pretty powerful because I had a story to tell then, and then once it was built.
It's such a cool thing, and I can see that how someone would just want to work with you because of that. But it's authentic, right? This is not some
Mhm.
ploy to go out and get business that
No.
we're going to give back. This is from your heart, and this is who you are and what you're about. And I imagine that finding something to support this that is authentic to you would be really important if this is a strategy we're going to look at, right?
Indeed. People always ask, where do I get started? I care about a lot of things, or I'm not sure what to care about. And I suggest starting with um, the things that make you really angry or sad, the things that pull at your heart. Think about those issues or those possibilities, those causes, or just think about things that you're drawn to. You know, if you love dogs, like maybe that. If you love kids, maybe it's something around that. And then go find the people already doing the work. I would say you don't make it easy on yourself. Don't try to solve, don't try to, create world peace on day one. Try to find the people who are already doing it, already invested in it, have already learned some hard lessons, and see how you can support them.
This started, I imagine, with you already knew the people who were looking to build these shower trucks, so you're just helping write checks, right? A check would come in and you'd send a check out. Was that the level of your involvement when you started?
Absolutely, yeah, because it did take a lot of time. Like, first, we need to identify where to purchase the trailer from, and then it was very unique at that time. Only San Francisco had done something like that, as far as we
Mhm.
knew. So, we had to figure out the non. It was a nonprofit that we were working with, and they had to identify where to get this trailer from, and then how to get it outfitted. Like, there aren't so many contractors who've outfitted a trailer with
Sure.
bathrooms, right? So that was a whole process. Once the shower truck was built, that was a whole new level of, again, became sort of strategic because we had to get smart and efficient and effective. But I had no idea what. I just thought, okay, it will be there and it's going to help people. I didn't realize they would need volunteers. And we all have networks as real estate agents. Leverage your networks for good, right? And that's what we did.
Yeah.
We got volunteers. Once we started talking about the people who were coming to the shower truck, telling their stories, if you're looking for a way for people to come back into your life after they purchase a home, that was something that it was unexpected, that they said, God, we want to come and volunteer at the shower truck. I would go and volunteer sometimes, and there would be my past clients. I didn't even know that
That's
they would be
amazing.
there. They brought food, they brought clothing. I had boxes and boxes of brand new underwear being shipped to me on a regular basis because we learned that was
Just from
needed.
people in your database that said, "We wanna help, and here's how we can support you in this," right?
Yep, that's
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
This is so cool. How has it evolved? So what other types of projects have you done to give back?
Wow. A lot of things. I do I so that was one of the most complicated projects, and there's definitely more projects that involve just writing checks, and I don't think that's a problem. Every charity needs that, right? Clean water projects, we've done quite a few of those. We've probably helped over 20,000 people across the globe access clean water. Um, so that's a really cool project. I love showing the impact there because that changes villages generation to generation. Um, we've also done, if people want to take ideas, really easy ideas. I learned through a book I read about a guy who went to a maximum security prison in Maryland. He was interested in reading books while he was imprisoned, and there was no library. So I contacted the jail to see if that was still the case, and it was, like, 10 years later. So I went to every Facebook group in the area, moms groups, neighborhood groups. I went to my past clients and I said, I would like to build the first library for this maximum security prison. Because here's the thing that I learned. I like to read a lot, and I learned that almost 90% of people who go to prison are going to find their way back out into our neighborhoods. They will be back here living with us. So do we want to invest in transformative programs, or do we want to have them come out and not be ready to um, live in such a way that they wouldn't be imprisoned again?
Right.
And right. So I think the former might be a good idea for all of us. And so I went to all these Facebook groups and I said, please send me this is my plan. We want to build this library. If you could send your favorite book. And within 2 weeks, I had over 1,000 books. So we did
Wow.
end up building the first library, and it cost me nothing but a little bit of time and a few volunteers to help carry the boxes into the prison.
They had a space already that they could use, it sounds like,
Mhm.
and you
Yes.
just needed to supply the stuff for them. That's so cool. It seems like that you find a gap and fill this gap. Where is a gap in my community that
Mhm.
is important that we fill, and then you start to fill it. That's what I'm hearing from you.
It's precisely. You got it, James. I think that is it, right? It's a little bit of a mind shift change, I think, for a lot of real estate agents. I think we're sort of taught to wake up every day and say, who needs to buy or sell a home today? And I wake up every day saying, who needs help today?
Yeah.
Who can I help? And I look through my social media to see what people are posting. I listen to people. I have a lot of events where I learn about people in my community and what's needed. I don't know if I can say this, but I'm an atheist and I go to church sometimes, and then I learn a lot about the struggles that people are dealing with. I go to a few churches here that have ministries that are serving low-income families, and that's another way that I learn about what's needed so that I can help support, I can bring people together. Because like I said, I have a massive network, and every person who's, even if you just started in real estate, if you have a phone and you have phone numbers in it, you have a network. So leverage it for good, and I promise you'll be able to build a massive, beautiful business.
It's so good, and that's what you're doing. $1 million that you've given. Before we get into the nuts and bolts of the balance between supporting the community and running a business, because I want to figure that out, I want to know what you're doing to celebrate this $1 million milestone that you're about to reach.
Oh my God, you're the first one to ask. So initially I wasn't going to. It just didn't cross my mind. I think like a lot of people, you do the thing and you just keep moving. You never look backwards. So, but then people said, I think the people who contributed to this and helped make this possible might need that. So what we are planning to do is, I thought about doing a gala, and then I thought that's not really me. And so we're going to have an event that's going to be something of an immersive museum to let people walk through their impact. We're renting out a community center, so they'll be able to do that. And at the end of this experience, we're going to celebrate with desserts and cake and all the things. So that's what we're doing.
That'll be fun. Way to showcase, and then the people who've helped contribute through purchasing, buying and selling real estate with you, or showing up and supporting, they can see the impact that they've helped have. I think it's smart. That's really good. All right, so it would be easy to get very excited about supporting your community and doing stuff, and forgetting you still have a business to run, which is what makes all of this possible. Yep. And you're running a very big one, not big in size of people. It's small in the number of people, but big in its productivity. So what does the balance look like for someone who's wants to be engaged in the community, but also still has a business to run, to pay their bills and be able to give back? What does some of that balance look like?
It's a really good question. And I do think it's important to hire people, right? To make some of these things happen. So, one thing I look back and see is that I would often hire people for like 8 hours. Like, I'm like, okay, I write down everything that I want to be doing, but I don't have time to do, or that I don't want to be doing anymore, like ever again. And then I have a job description, and that may be 2 people. It may be someone who's doing 4 hours of work a week for me. It may be someone who's doing 2 hours of work for me. And there are so many people, especially in this economy, who are looking for work. So I think the idea of, oh gosh, I don't know if I can hire somebody because I don't have the money right now. Well, can you hire somebody, right? If you're already running a business where you need to have that balance, but those people are supportive and administrative in nature, right? So I come up with a vision, and then those people are the ones who implement it. My goal is to just show up, right? So I'll give you an example. And this is something that was talked about at Mega Camp that I had shared there through an interview. So we do something called a speed friending event. And the purpose of this is to help cure loneliness and build relationships in the community. And so the vision is, in my case, we were bringing women together and providing a low pressure way for them to meet as many women as possible in the community, have a nice time, have some drinks, have some food. That whole coordination is not my specialty. So I have a woman in my community who I call my event planner, and she just does these events by contract. Essentially, we charge a ticket fee to come into this event. So let's say it's $25. She creates a budget. She's paid off of that. So she actually doesn't cost me anything. This event doesn't cost me anything because we are charging people to come into this event. We are providing a service that people want to be a part of, and those fill up pretty quickly. So it's basically my executive assistant working in tandem with this person. So, and covering those costs. The women come to the event, and because the event planner is there coordinating all the things, I'm not playing host. I'm actually inside of that, being one of the people who's meeting all of these new people. And through that event, of course, we're gathering 25, 30 people within the community I've never met before. I'm personally meeting them. So we're helping to build that relationship, and I've secured their contact information so that they can be aware of our real estate business. And I usually friend them on Facebook as well, so that they're seeing the stuff that we're doing in the community, as well as, just the social proof that we are selling homes.
It's giving back and it's growing the database. And ultimately, you've got to fill the pipeline. If you're going to hit 200 to 300 homes a year, you got to have a pipeline that's pretty deep. So what, if I'm in your database, what kind of, how often am I going to hear from you? What am I going to get from you? What's that going to feel like, so that when I have a real estate need, you're the one I use?
All I got to say is good luck, because we have a lot of communications and it's not hard. Somebody could literally set up what we have in one day, like no joke. It just you just need some automation to it. So they're going to get a monthly market update from us. And our monthly market update always includes some of our charity work, right? So we don't want it to be boring. We want it to be interesting. We want it to be concise and quick. And then it shows some of the listings that we have. So there's sort of the proof that we really know what we're doing. We try to talk about the market in ways that other people aren't talking about it. One of the things I noticed that real estate agents do is they'll say things like days on market are this. Average yield on list price is this, and they're using a lot of industry terminology that doesn't mean anything. It's also, those figures are not anchored to anything. So if I'm reading that, you have to think about how people who maybe aren't interested in real estate right now, or maybe they're thinking about it, if I see that the average days on market is 43 days and there's no other information, I don't know what that means. Is that good? Is that bad? Is that terrifying? So the bulk of that email is really showcasing what this means for a buyer, what this means for a seller, right? So I think that's really important to explain where the opportunities are inside of that newsletter. So I think it's important. I do think that content is important, not to just send something out there. So that's one thing that they get. If they are coming to our events, most likely they came through my Facebook group. I have a pretty extensive Facebook group that I've been building over 10 years, and that has a newsletter with it. So they're also getting that newsletter once a month, and that will let them know about upcoming events. So it'll remind you of that. It also has our real estate information at the bottom of it. And it might have a special like, hey, we're going to give you 5 hours of a free organizer if you reach out to us to sell your home this month, that type of thing. I also, adding them to Facebook. Obviously, they're getting my real estate stuff. They're getting to know me personally and all the things that I'm focused on. That's one of the biggest ways I think that people who come to my events are able to build trust. Like, I'm able to build trust with them. Just adding them to Facebook. And I know people are fearful, just adding people, but once you've met them in person, typically they want to be your friends. So they're getting all those communications and they're getting invited. I'll have like little pop-up events. Like maybe I'll have a ladies' dinner or something like that. And so inviting them to those types of things too. So it's really about, David Hoffman used to talk about this, being a friend, being the market expert. I forget the third one was, but really focusing on those things. And like you said, it really is filling that database. Every single day I think about, okay, how can I get more people in there who I can help? And so doing events, it makes it really easy. And thinking about, again, going back to who can I help today? Curing loneliness. I think that issue is going to stay around for quite a while, right? But what are some other things that I can do? What are just following the lead of what's happening in the community and building events around it. It doesn't have to be expensive. It doesn't have to be complex.
The business can be about one of two things. This is what I've said. I think you and I are in agreement on what it should be about, but you've got two choices. You can make as much money as possible and put all your focus on the money and make it about that, and that will work. Or you can want to serve and help as many people as possible and give back. And if you do that, that can also work to have a highly successful business. I like people over the profit piece, right? If you put the focus on the people, the money will come. And I feel like you're just paying attention to your community and what matters and what they need. And then you're leveraging the business to help with that. My guess would be the majority of the people who do business with you find you through the community work, not the other way around. They're not doing business with you and then getting engaged in the community. It's actually the other way. Would that be right?
That's right. And I would say my profit margin is very good.
It has to be.
I don't spend a lot of money. So,
Right.
so if one is focused on like making money over people. I mean, yeah, that can work, but I would put my P&L up against anyone with that sort of notion about how to build a business. And I wouldn't be surprised if we came out better. We don't spend a lot of money. We are putting ourselves out there. I have a lot of meetup events, coffee meetups. Every month I have 2 coffee meetups within the group, so within the community, and that helps to bring in people who are new to the community and people who have been there forever. I call it like the newcomer coffee, right? It doesn't cost me a latte, right? And every time I'm meeting 10, 12 new people, add that up, compound that over time if I'm doing a couple of those a month. So I think, yeah, it's just interesting to think about that, people over profit or just chasing the money. But if you chase people and you look to help people, your profit margins are going to be very good if you're looking out for more than yourself.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. And that's how we
Yeah.
run this business, is the exact same way. I would put our P&L up against any market center's P&L, and I bet you we're beating it. And I'm serious. Because our focus is on adding value to people first, and yours is the same way. If someone is listening, is inspired by you, they go, I want to get engaged with my community. It's important to me. What are some tips that you would share with them that they should think about?
Yeah. Okay. So you got to get out of your house. I think that's the first thing. Get out there. And if you're thinking, God, planning those events, even those small meetups, Sheena, that sounds like too much. Well, let me give you some not maybe too much ideas. I have an agent on my team who is now doing a walking group. I mean, luckily she does have the DC monuments to walk around, so that's kind of fun. But I'm sure wherever you live, there are places where you can walk, where you can hike. So setting something up like that, how do you invite people to it? Invite your past clients, put it out there on Facebook, put it out on Nextdoor. You can post flyers in your local Starbucks. Start with past clients. Like if you have to start there and ask them to invite, that you loved working with, and ask them to invite a friend, right? That's where I started when I initially started in real estate. If I was going to do meetups, I would just invite my friends and ask them to invite more people. So that's how I initially started growing. So these meetups can be very low key, no cost. So that's one thing to sort of think about. And then, as I said before, really comb through in the morning when you go to your social media. Don't just think about your own profile or maybe checking on what your friends are doing, right? Look and see what's happening in the community. Add yourself to Facebook groups and see what people are talking about, what they're interested in. Are there a lot of people losing their jobs right now? What can you do about that? Could you set up like a little career fair? Doesn't need to be fancy. Stop worrying about making things complicated. I can tell you about my buy nothing yard sale that I started. That is like so easy. And I just got a $1.6 million listing from it. I've probably gotten $5 million of business over this year from that yard sale. And done a lot of good. So we can talk about that. But really, again, combing through and really understanding the needs of your community and trying to solve some of those problems. You can also go to your local charities and see what they need. And if they're like, okay, everybody needs money, right? So maybe you're not in a position right now, or maybe you could do transactional giving, even if it's $25 for every home you sell, right? Here's my little trick. You don't need to tell people how much you're giving. And you can tell people with every transaction, together we will make this impact. We will save one dog from, I don't know what they call it, being put down, euthanasia. So talk about the impact, right? So you can start right there, just writing a little check every time you have a closing. Tell people in between closings the impact that your business has, and tell them how they can support you, either by referring business or by sending business. So those are some kind of low-key ways to kind of get started, and you can always call me.
It's so nice. Tell us about this garage sale event, because you told me a little bit about it, but I think it's a really cool and easy thing that people could pull off if they want.
Yeah. So going alongside my philosophy, right, of like, where are the problems? And I noticed it was maybe like February, March, a lot of people were saying, for whatever reason, they don't want to shop at certain stores, right? And I thought, okay, if people aren't shopping anymore and having a hard time finding places to shop, to buy the things, what can I do to help them get the things that they need? So I thought, what if we did a yard sale, but everything was free? Because personally, I think the thing with yard sales is nobody likes to negotiate.
Right.
Very few people like to negotiate. They don't like to haggle. The other thing I thought is, if people are bringing, there are always people talking about how they have so many things. And if you've sold a lot of homes, you also know that almost every seller has too much stuff, right? And they complain, they're it's a heavy load to try to get rid of things, even if you're using those buy nothing groups, even if you're using a yard sale, it takes so long. So what I created is something I'm actually now calling everything is free yard sale. It's a mouthful. Buy nothing is already trademarked, so I'm not calling it that anymore, but the buy nothing yards, or the everything is free yard sale. So this is how you do it. Essentially, you find a location. I have an elementary school in walking distance to me. No, I don't ask for permission. It's a public space and we're not selling anything. If you feel like you need to ask permission, go ahead. But you just need an area. Mine has about 55 parking spots, to give you a sense of size. And then parking for the shoppers. That needs to be outside of your parking lot. Okay, so you've identified a space, and then you'll start to market and say, we are doing an everything is free yard sale. My yard sale is from 9 a.m. until 10 a.m. The first yard sale I did was 2 hours long. Everything was gone in 45 minutes. And usually almost everything's gone in 30 minutes. It's crazy how quickly things go. So you're going to set up. I ended up buying some signs to help direct people. But essentially, the vendors sign up and then they come in, they park their car, they open up the back of their car, they put out a table or a blanket. I don't provide any of that. And then they put out all their things. And at 9 a.m., shoppers are allowed to come and take the things. And people love it. It is magical. I do it every single month. And so again, the vendors are signing up, and these are typically homeowners who are signing up. I get probably anywhere between 30 and 60 vendors who sign up every single time. And they are almost, I would say 25% are people who have done business with us already. So it's a great way to stay in touch with them. And they're just so grateful that you're providing this free service to them. And the other ones are people I've never met before. Those people go into our database, and I just created a newsletter specifically for those people that's a little bit more focused. I use ChatGPT to help me. So now they're going to get 2 newsletters from me. But honestly, even before they were getting those newsletters, they were so grateful and reaching out to us to sell their homes. I probably had 4 or 5 people out of that. And I think I started 5 months ago. So that's it. I don't know if you have questions about that, but it has been.
So the people are finding out from your newsletter or just in the community. These are past clients that come. It seems like it'd be a great idea for listings you're taking. Hey, you want to unload some of your stuff, come to the everything is free yard sale. I mean, it's smart. And again, it's you're listening, you're paying attention, and you're finding a need. Maybe this isn't the play that someone wants to run, but listen to what's going on in your community and figure out what need you might be able to fill. Add value to it, and the business will come. This has been great, Sheena. I appreciate you so much. Thank you for spending time with us. Thank you for what you do. Just thanks for being such a great member of the KW community. It's great. Thank you so much. Appreciate you.
Thank you.